Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm wearing my official Viking shirt, which came from Ireland. Today I'm going to review the Slayers D20 anime role-playing game. Now, first up, I have never seen the Slayer anime series. Ever. The only information I have about this show is in the book I just read. Or not just read, but recently read. But I understand the anime genre, and I understand certain tropes in that genre, so I'm not a complete noob on this. But I wanted to review this as a game and see how it stands up. So, how does it fare? Well, in the intro, they say that they feel that the D20 engine is a perfect fit for the anime genre. And I have to tell you, I don't agree. And I'm going to tell you why as I review this. I'm going to use a table of contents as a guide, and it's got one, so that does in fact get them bonus points. We open up with character creation in Slayers. We go into races, and you have three main races. You have Beastmen, and these are humanoid anthro characters. There are 10 different types, like wolf, cat, you get the point. And there's enough of them so that you see when you don't have access to it, would not be difficult for any GM worth the name to come up with their own without any difficulty whatsoever. Then there are dragons. Dragons have a hefty level adjustment, +6. You're playing an actual dragon that can shape change into a human or human-like for everyday, interaction, but you are a dragon. And then you have just your standard run-of-the-mill human. But to make these more interesting, particularly humans, there are templates. And these racial templates are Chimera, which is a fusion of two different creatures, a copy, and this is kind of a classic fiction trope, television fiction trope, or science fiction or fantasy, where someone creates a copy of a character, and that copy is then used against them in some way, duplicity and backstabbing, assassination, destroying your reputation, that kind of thing. Half demon, half dragon, half golem, half Mazoko, which is essentially a very powerful type of monster, and half troll. The trolls in this are not D&D trolls so much as bestial creatures. There's a fairly wide definition of what is a troll, so they can vary a great deal from individual to individual. Now, all of these have level adjustments, the least powerful of them being the half troll. I think it was only a +1. Then we have classes. Now, they've pretty much tossed out the core classes and are bringing in their own classes here to better suit the anime genre and the setting in specific. You have Bandit, which is all about the money. Bounty Hunter, that's pretty straightforward. Lore Master, that's a whole lot like a kind of a more knowledge-based bard. Noble, pretty straightforward. Priest, Rogue, Warrior, and Witch Wizard. They're all pretty self-explanatory. Then we have prestige classes: Cleric, Shrine, Maiden. Heavy emphasis on the virgin server of a temple kind of a thing. Martial Artist, again, you have to have one of those in the anime. Master at Arms, person's heavily into the use of weapons over martial arts, really a full-blown expert at them. Pistolier. Now, the pistols in this, there are firearms in this setting. Now, what I find strange is that they're an exotic weapon. Now, they're used from an area of the Outlands, where there is no magic, or magic is very, very weak. So, they develop firearms. Cool. For those people, they should not be exotic. That's what they use because they didn't have magic. So they should be dirt common. Now, if someone in the magical area learned them, that would be exotic. But they all have access to magic. So why would you develop pistols? I will never understand so many people's problem with making firearms, at least martial, if not simple weapons. They are not mechanically more complex than a heavy crossbow. Yet people love to think of them as exotic, but they aren't. Shaman, kind of a druidy kind of thing. Sorcerer, swordsman, expert at a sword. You've focused all your time and energy into becoming very good with the blade. and Warrior of Justice, Paladin version kind of thing. Then we have skills. Now, the one thing I did really like in here is they increased the number of skill points. Then I found out why. Two things. They added 2 new skills that I thought were cool, but they're going to soak up a lot of skill ranks or skill points for spellcasters, and this is a skill-based spell casting system. So all the points they offered are gone. And in fact, I think that your spellcasters are going to be at a severe skill point deficit. You are not going to be able to emphasize across-the-board powers. You are very much going to have to focus. A lot of RP potential there, but I also think it means that you're not going to have a lot of generalist spellcasters. But the 2 skills I like is they made summoning a skill, and they made divination visions a skill. I like these ideas. I like the concept that you learn to summon as someone taught it to you, and you can roll on your skill to see how well you pull it off. Having a control circle for summoning improves your chances. Not having one makes it riskier, things like that. I like this concept, but it soaks up a lot of skill ranks if you're going to be any good at it. Then you have feats. Now, there's a lot of feats in here that are geared towards emulating anime tropes and the Slayer setting specific. And I think that this creates a dichotomy. If everyone at the table says, I want us to design characters to perfectly emulate the anime genre and specifically the Slayer setting, you're good to go. But if even a single person at that table says, no, I want to design an optimized D20 character, they are gonna clean the clocks of everybody else in that group. Because an optimized D20 character is going to be spending their feats and their skills in ways that are going to make them so much better in combat and in skill execution than the ones who are going after the anime genre or the Slayer setting. So you really have to get a group that wants to buy in to this setting and buy into the anime genre. If you don't, if you've got a power gamer at the table that just wants to be the best there is at playing a D20 character, I think they're going to steal the spotlight and make everybody else feel bad about it. So that's something you're going to have to talk to your players about. Using current feats, new feats, none of the feats I remember really stuck out to me. Then they talk about the cosmology, sorcery, religion, and they talk about magic. Now, again, it's a skill-based magic system. You roll on a skill, there's all kinds of different bonuses and negatives based on the power of the spell and your skill at it and your additional feats, or you've added magic items to help make it better. You know the kind of thing I'm talking about. The problem is that you're just soaking up skill points. If you're going to use a skill-based magic system, make it a class feature. You get 1 rank at every level of full caster you've got. Why just soak up skill points? Why be punitive about it? Everyone's going to put as many skill points as they can to it anyway, so just make it a class feature. I don't understand why people don't do that. But I've read a number of different skill-based systems for Magic in the last year, like 4 or 5 of them. And I've come to the conclusion, I don't like them. Because almost all of them, with the exception I think of one I've read, has punished the spellcaster by making it fatigue them if they cast a spell. So if you cast a spell and you're successful, you take non-lethal damage. So over the course of your day, you're getting more and more tired, it's getting harder and harder to cast spells, and eventually you essentially pass yourself out, which is a wonderful feature in a story, but I think it's really unpleasant to do it to a player character in a game. It would be like saying to a fighter, every time you successfully hit an enemy, you take 1 point of non-lethal damage to reflect the fact that you're getting tired. Realistic, sure. But who wants to play a fighter in that situation? Nobody. So, if you're going to want to use an alternate system, use the psionic system. I just think it's a beautiful spell point system. It's perfectly balanced with the game, and it doesn't screw people by making them suffer hit point damage, non-lethal or otherwise, to use their main class feature. Spell list. Then there is a section on combat. Now, combat's pretty standard in this. Every class gets a defense bonus because armor is pretty much ceremonial in this game, because in the anime genre, Armor is pretty much just what you wear to look good. It doesn't do a lot. I think only the men-at-arms are actually really any decent at wearing them anyway. Wearing it anyway. They also have psychological combat and embarrassment combat, because embarrassing situations are a part of the anime genre. One of the main tropes is that people get embarrassed by being, having people talk about relationships, or, pantsing them, or doing semi-humorous things, stuff like that. I found that a little strange, and quite frankly, it really doesn't interest me at all. Maybe I am the wrong target for this product, and I apologize to all the fans out there who think I am doing a disservice to you. Not my intent. Then they talk about alignment, money and equipment, NPCs, anachronisms, which is also a feature of anime genre, where you have somebody listen to a Walkman or that type of device in a world of fantasy. That those kind of things happen all the time in anime situations. Then you talk about the GMing things, like the right balance, pacing, single episode versus whole series arcs. So if you want to do a one-off setup where each adventure is one episode, or you want to create multi-episode arcs, just like a series. Then you go on the history of the Slayers, a very in-depth episode guide. If you like the Slayers series and you want a decent episode guide, this has got it. Every single episode with a little thumbnail about it. Well done. And if you like the Slayers art, this thing is chock full of it. It's everywhere. Then you have setting a society, overview of the land and the societies they're in. Then it gives you some really nice main character stats all written up, secondaries, characters, and major NPCs, things like that, all statted up. Some minor characters as well. Then it gives you a short bestiary of races: beastmen, dragons, fish people, fox people, god race, humans, and Bazoko, and then a full-blown bestiary. Now, if you like the anime genre and you like the D20 engine, this is something you may want to look at. But I do not think that the D20 engine is a good fit for the anime genre. I just don't think it is. I think it's too constrained. You're trying to shoehorn things into a way that does not work for the anime genre. That's much looser. Things have to be a lot more freely handled than the D20 engine is capable of doing. I recently read OVA, which is all about anime role-playing. And I'll be doing a review of that in the near future. And I think it pretty much, for me at least, struck the perfect balance of a game system that could really reflect how you're going to run an anime campaign, because it has no stats. So it's all about the traits your character has. You describe the kind of character you want, you and the GM come up with the traits it gets, and you roleplay it. So it's much more open, much more flexible, fits the genre better than this game does. So if you really like Slayers, this may be something you want to read just to have the episode guide and have stats for all these different creatures that you could use in a game of your own. Maybe you just want to cherry pick a few things for a standard D20 game or for a Pathfinder game, something like that. You could find things in here that you can use. But I don't think it's a good fit for the genre. I have no idea if it fits the Slayer universe, but I know that I would never want to run this as it is as a game. It just doesn't work for me. So I'd be interested in anyone who else has had a chance to read this, or you own it. Tell me what you think about it, and tell me, do you think it fit the genre well, and you think it fit the Slayers universe as well as the authors of this book think it did?